We'll give people a few minutes to get in here. I'm talking with my boy Tru Armor. We usually go late at night, but today we're not going to. I don't know about you. I'm going to find out what happened with you this past week with the world. But for me, it's been super, super, super hectic. So thought I would get the Haps Challenge in early. Yeah, we're gonna get this challenge in early, and then help out a few other folks that need assistance with their Haps Challenge. As you know, the way you're watching the show is Haps.tv, and the great thing about Haps.tv is they offer free world-class broadcasting tools and a community eager to collaborate, and a simple way for viewers to support other creators financially. So today is number 80 that I've spent on Haps. And I won't say I'm a Haps evangelist, but I really like the tool. It's a great tool. Even what's better than the tool is the people that are on here. You got a community that is really helpful. They really encourage each other. What else? They help each other. They support each other financially. And I just got off a stream about 10 minutes ago with someone trying to make their challenge. So the challenge is all about 250 live viewers in your session, so that you meet the challenge for 8 weeks, and over that 8-week stretch, which will coincide with Periscope going bye-bye. True, I was on the Haps. There was like a Haps broadcast marathon Friday night with bloggers from all over the place. Well, not just bloggers, live streamers, bloggers, journalists, artists, and the like. So I got to meet a lot of cool people on Friday night.
Nice.
So before I even go any further, how is your world? What's going on in your world?
My world is no different than anybody else's. I'm struggling with the pandemic like everybody else, and trying to get from point A to point B. Just like everybody else, I guess. I mean, I don't know what to say.
You're struggling?
Yeah,
has it gotten
struggling
any
is
better?
relative, though, right? So
Say it again?
I said struggling is relative. So, yeah, I mean, it ain't been easy, but at the same time, I see a lot of people who have it a whole lot worse, and I got a lot of there for the grace of Godness going on over here.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
So would you say you see a light? You see a light at the end of the tunnel?
No, no, I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't. I think these people are all wrong and arrogant about it, and don't like to be challenged. So, I mean, look at Joe Biden. They had to downsize the aircraft he flies on because he's too old to use it, the regular one, right? And he doesn't really go anywhere. Last week they were on the White House lawn putting up Valentine's displays because, love, I guess. But, it's not a normal year, so why are they doing that? People need that $2,000 you promised. So, I mean, I don't really need the $2,000, but people are desperate for it. So that's how I balance my never for the grace of God go I mode. I would like to be better off, but I know that there are people worse. So when you ask, this is a long way to answer this question, right? It's like walking down the street in the old days, and we bump past each other on like Court Street or something, and you go, "Hey, how you doing?" And then I launch into, "How am I doing?" 15 minutes later, you're like, "I ran out the house to get a newspaper and my coffee. Now my coffee's cold, and the newspaper is 3 days old. Why did I stop to talk to him?"
Nah, it's not really about that. I mean, well, somewhat of it is. It's really that human connection to see What's it going to take?
Yeah.
You know, here's an old friend. Here's the last time I've seen them, and you know, what have they been up to? And I will say, in everyone's defense, you got to keep a certain level of normalcy. So putting up love signs and decorating the White House lawn, I know it might seem crazy in this day and age, but I'm telling you, last night I was watching Canelo Alvarez defend his title in Miami, Florida, and they had allowed, I don't know, 15, 20,000 fans in the arena, and it was as close as normal as possible. Hello, Corey from London. Corey, how you doing? Thanks for checking in. Yeah, I'm just saying, in the middle of this madness, they were having a full-on boxing match where, it's no different than any other sporting event that we've seen recently.
Yeah, but is that normalcy?
Well,
that a giant conglomerate is trying to keep their coffers running, right? Is that normalcy? When you don't have schools open, which is really normalcy. So just because the NFL can play and the NBA can play and people aren't violating the athlete's bubble, and you can only have your wife there and your kids on the field to show this all-Americana kind of feeling you get. But at the end of the day, it's just like earlier in this pandemic, they were talking about essential workers and how important they were until they weren't, right? So,
well, I think it's important if you're the NBA or NFL that you're able to have your wife and your mistress both there, along with a few other people.
Right, prospects, next season's prospects. Right now, I feel you. But even as you make it normal for them to get back to their celebrity lifestyle, my point is they're not making it normal for people who make less than $100,000, right? So people are still out of work. I mean, musicians are taking a beating, right? I used to love going to a live show. Now, I can't imagine what it would be like to be a musician.
What are you talking about? They're doing it on Zoom nowadays. Same thing as comedians.
Yeah, I know, but it's still got to be, the thing about live music is that it's live, right? And while you're there are perks to it being there, right? You can have a beer, you can meet your new homie and talk business or rap. It's on a rock group or a rap group or this group or that group, right? There's all that. You may meet the woman your dreams, right? Me and my man Nels, we were hanging out in a bar 20 years ago or so, and he had just broken up with this girl, and he was having, he was all heart hurt, and he had a couple of dates with women, and they weren't all awesome. And we were sitting in the bar, and I was like, man, come on, man. The world is full of beautiful women, right? Half the world is women. That's 3 billion women, It's got to be something that you like. And as soon as I said that, Carla came cruising into the bar. And I was like that girl, go talk to her. And he looked over and his eyes kind of popped up oh, wow, who's that? So fast forward, 25 years later, they're married, which show, and I was there when they met. And I knew exactly what he was feeling. It was really an amazing thing. The second before she walked in, having known him then for 15 years, and we were tight dudes, going, no, man, this girl that I dated for all this time, went to college with, really liked it, fell apart. All these other prospects aren't great. Why am I even bothering? You get those conversations with your homie in a bar especially. And then just like that, somebody walked in that he didn't even know her name. You know what I'm saying? But the general way about her, that why guys like girls and girls like guys were at play that day. He could have easily said, man, I'm not, but he didn't go, oh, well, I might as well go talk to her. He generally looked like, oh, who is that? Which is what you want when you first lay eyes on somebody. And I'm glad it worked out. Really glad it worked out. And that's normalcy, right?
So you say love can happen.
Concerts all the time. Travel up to New York, go to concerts all the time. In the old days, in the before times, when I lived in New York, we hit a bar first, right? get nice and lubricated. You had a flask in your go-to gear back before you couldn't bring anything into anywhere. And you have a squad. You may bump into somebody, meet other people. You may make a new friend in the section that you're in as you sing these Bruce Springsteen songs or, I'm about to say Tom Petty, but God rest him. But rap tunes or if it's a stand-up comedy, there's something different about a live venue. And so back to originally what we started with, how musicians are taking the beat and they're doing it on Zoom. And I'm
Hey, I
just
want to
talking
say
about the big venues.
Big shout out to Tony D. Tony D, I see you out there in Warner Robins. Jimmy Ritz, thanks for checking in. Jimmy said, and I presented it on the screen, I think this will make people rethink their financial savings and investment strategies.
But hey, the people, whenever I hear this, people always, Jimmy, right? I think people always go to that response like nobody cares. And everybody's fiddling while Rome is going to burn tomorrow, right? It's not burning now, but all of a sudden there's a pandemic and it's burning, and you were fiddling all this time. People have been trying to scrounge savings together for at least the last 70 years, right? Easily since the 50s, where people, the standard was to buy a house, wife stay home, send the kids to college, one husband can do it. And then all of a sudden, through the 60s and 70s and deregulation, all this stuff, it's supposed to be you're happy to have a job, and that's what they sold it to. It used to be you have to have a career, and you would get that career when you're 17 and work at that place for 30 years, right? And you wouldn't get taken to the cleaners on it. Now, you can work your heart out. They don't even want to pay you an honest day's wage, and the only people they want to pay less than you are Mexicans. So I don't know. And actually, the only people that want to pay less than Mexicans are Asians in Asia. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. I may have to put out one of these incense. But
yeah, I think so. Well, I'm going to say this back to normalcy. Something that was said earlier in a live stream that I attended. I just, I wasn't a part. I was just commenting in the field, and someone said, at this time, at this moment, and I know you're going to want to argue me down, but just hold on, that the current president is the right person for this specific moment.
Who said that? The people who voted for the current president and hated the last president? All you're hearing since he got into office is how it's a better day already, and he hasn't done anything. It's just a better day because he's there. Which is, I was about to say a curse word, which is nonsense, right? If you're serious about your politics, you want to know, you take into account the history of the person, the election as it unfolded and transpired, as how he dealt with his history, as he also presses a case against the person who's his opposition, as well as presses his own case. So all these things are in play. None of that happened. And it was more like, you can't elect him again. Remember, he was a joke 4 years ago until he cleaned your clock, right? So you tried to beat him the first time by going, Donald Trump is a joke. Only a moron would go for it.
But he didn't go against them 4 years ago, so that makes no sense. Your argument makes no sense.
Hold on. So he got all this traction. The joke aspect didn't work. Then the second thing last year running up to it was he's a sinister individual, right? So he went from being a laughable joke in the same election on a coin flip to being a sinister individual who was controlled by the Russians, right? And now, here we are, him out of office, his shadow still looms large that he's the boogeyman that people are telling you Joe Biden is going to protect you from, which is amazing.
Well, he's the boogeyman for one party. He's the boogeyman for one party.
He's telling Democrats to kind of stay on the ship because the boogeyman is out there. And while you're asking stuff, we're not dealing with that. We're just talking about what we want to talk about. And when you go, man, I'm leaving, they go, again, the boogeyman, Donald Trump. Then I even talk about $2,000 got you elected, right? Now he's not even throwing it around. Ooh, don't
Yeah, I just don't want to let that take all the air out, So I was on this challenge the other night, that broadcast the other night, and it was a nice flow. It was a really nice flow. Yeah. Then politics got infused into a conversation with some journalists, because there was a panel of journalists. Okay. And it just took all the air out of the room.
Right.
All the entire, and I was just like, it kind of just killed the vibe. But it was just that segment that it killed. And right. And I the only thing I'm saying is we're forced to live and to function in a different manner. If anything, this past year has taught us that we got to operate differently. So hence, whether you're a comedian, whether you're doing private Zoom sessions, whether you're doing, whether you are a musician, heck, if you're a cam dancer, you've gotta, you've gotta be able to function differently. And if you can't, you know what happens? You become like Toys R Us or Kmart or Filene's Basement.
Adapt or die. Yeah, exactly.
And that's the crazy thing about it. It's like
the first thing that adapted is people were like, well, my morality is going to go out the window because I need this money. So if that's the case in the common man's realm of cam girls and working in Walmart and all this, what's going on in the other economic brackets? Because I remember when Enron shut down, I used to know people who worked at Enron, and when that whole place went under, a lot of them didn't get new gigs because every year there's more people coming out of that financial market, right? And you don't have to pay them what you were paying the other people. So, one giant financial house goes down. Now you got all those people who once worked there flooding the market, as well as the new people who were going to come into it anyway. And people had to, I knew one girl who started exotic dancing to keep her lifestyle up.
Did she do it to keep her lifestyle up or to keep the lights on?
This was 10 years ago with Enron. Now everybody's a cam girl who's openly doing more aggressive stuff.
So, are you talking like OnlyFans? Or are you talking about like...
This was 10 years ago before OnlyFans.
Okay.
When Enron shut down and it got out that she was essentially like stripping with some of her friends for sort of like not some of the dudes she used to work with, but like a little more high-end people. And when I say stripping,
but my question to you,
allegations that, she'd go away with them too for the weekends and do stuff. It's that kind of thing.
But my question to you is was she doing it to keep the lights on?
Yeah, or, that's the point. She once had a job.
Or a specific lifestyle.
No. She once had a job, and then Enron went under, and then she looked for a job for a long time, and then she ended up not finding one where she once worked, and she talked about going back and da-da-da-da, and then she ended up dancing, quite frankly. I couldn't afford it, but yeah.
Jimmy Rich chimes in
the land of $3,000 apartments.
Jimmy Rich chimes in and says, we always need more dancers.
Everyone says that, but you know what? No one tells their 12-year-old girl to work on their twerk game, right? No one tells their 17-year-old daughter to work on their twerk game. So it's a fun and flippant way to do it. To talk about what's going on out here. But carjackings are up. You see what I'm saying? Home invasions are up. And we had this conversation on your pod before. There's crime in our neighborhood because people are hungry and they're not going to sit home and starve. They have to sell drugs. The ladies have to do some dancing. It was always our culture, which is why we're both very religious, the black culture. Not very religious, but we have a respect for religion, the black culture. We're not very religious. But you also have a respect for sex and sexuality, right? Who in the world is going to give you twerking, right? But the black culture, right?
So Tony D
go to church on Sunday and not think anything of it. Not call whoever did it like out her name or anything. It's just the way it works.
God knows Tony D just chimed in.
Young people. I'm sorry?
I said Tony D just chimed in and said some of them did adult movies too.
You see what I'm saying? So, it's like we talked about the crack epidemic. Like people dead broke had no opportunity who never would have committed a crime in their life, you know. But since crack is everywhere, the money seems free, and it does seem free, but you know, it's not free. You pay the cost. And instead of working for McDonald's back then for like $3 an hour, you could make, I don't know how much they were making, but it was a ton because everybody had new cars. And then it
was come on. The shelf life on that was
instead of being happily hungry, you know, people will take those temptations and people will do what it takes to keep the lights on and food on the table, is all I'm saying. So I get why OnlyFans is and sexuality is now pushed to the forefront of our economic lives, because, you know, they don't call it the oldest profession for nothing.
Nah, I hear you. I'm just, we're still at a dark place. We're at a dark place. Yes, vaccines are being, you know, handed out, you know, divvied out if you meet that specific criteria, you know, your age or, you know, your health issues, depending on where you are, you know, I guess it's part of the national plan. But in the end, people are still, I remember driving around, you drive around, you know, most neighborhoods, and you see the food pantries. Well, you know of the food pantries, but you would never see them to the point where you see people spilling, you know, the line spilling out into the streets.
Nobody wants to know that they're going to a food pantry, right? So you sort of try and slip in, not run into your neighbor or your church, you know, parishioner at the food pantry. Now it's so desperate that people stand outside for hours in line. And you don't care who sees you standing in line, because that's how desperate it's gotten. You see what I'm saying?
No, I hear what you're saying. Jimmy Rich he just chimed in.
That they were running to begin with.
Jimmy Rich chimes in and says no one tells their daughters to study science and math either.
Well, you crazy people. A lot of people tell their kids to study science and math. Come on.
Jimmy or Tony, if you want to jump into the conversation, you're more than welcome for spirited debate. As always, this is Late Night Parents, but we're doing it at, you know, during the daytime. I don't know. It's what was your take about the food pantries?
10 seconds.
Okay. So I get to go on my my soapbox about the food pantries. No one, you know, obviously no one wants to see them in their neighborhood, or no one wants to see their venue converted into it. But, you know, it's a serious situation out there, and regardless of whomever, no problem. Regardless of whomever you voted for, regardless of. He said, we late afternoon parents today. Yes, we are. He said, no matter who you voted for, no matter what your political party is, when you see these food pantries everywhere and you see the lines everywhere, you know, it kind of has to pull at your heartstrings. That it's just real out here.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the people carrying those placards. Help me, I'm homeless. I'm down here, so I'm a vet on every single one of them.
On everyone,
that's the sign that I used to see one of those guys maybe once or twice a week standing with a placard. Now I see multiple people a day, every day, all over the place. Sorry, so that's the metric I go. I know people want to tell us it's getting better, but until I see those people disappearing off the side of the roads, asking, you know.
Well, I don't think we're going to see anyone disappear off the side of the road, because when it was the land of milk and honey, we still saw that. We still saw people on the side of the road.
Last time we saw this amount of people holding up placards and asking for help was during the Great Depression. So I don't know if I necessarily buy I don't know if I necessarily buy that it's getting better until I think that's gone.
So Mike Patton jumps in, a friend to the room, says definitely does pull at those heartstrings, although I did see one guy that had a sign and it said he needed weed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's a different approach.
There's always those guys.
That's right? A different approach. I mean, it's I don't know. Right. That's
yeah, I've seen some goofy ones. I've seen some in the past where it was like, I'm fine, I don't want money. You know, kind of like those weird, kind of like, why don't you make a placard of that? Those California kind of Venice Beach kind of signs. And those are fine and dandy, but I mean, the majority of them are like, and some people are sitting out there with their kids. Oh man, it's killer. It's really, what is going on in my eye right now?
I don't know.
I got like something in it when I, anyway, but yeah.
So hang on. Jimmy Rich chimes in. He says, no, they don't. I have a niece that started dancing professionally for Disney, and after damaging her knee, she's out of a career. Parents have high expectations.
That's the girl version of being.
Hold on. I'm not finished. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Parents have a high expectation that their kids are going to become famous. And just as a follow-up, Mike Patton says, Tru Armor is correct. It's gotten worse over the country, but I've noticed it has lessened some here in Nashville.
It had what? It had lessened some here in Nashville.
Yeah, some in Nashville. You know, seeing.
But is that because they left Nashville?
I don't know if it's because they left Nashville or if it's to the point where either they left Nashville or it's some of this help is now being made available to people.
Is it being made available? Okay. My eye is killing me right now.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing, I mean, you know, in regards to unemployment, you know, benefits and, you know, being able so that people are able to receive additional help.
Right. Well, as long as they pass a stimulus and get people back to as close to a semblance of normalcy as possible, you know what I mean? Versus just kind of going, you know, essentially talking about it for the next 2 or 3 years under Biden and not doing anything. I think the people need an influx of cash, quite frankly. You know,
well, they needed that influx of cash that they should have received, but they didn't receive over that 9-month window.
Yeah.
You know, I just go back to the
have it by like November, just in time for Christmas, so you can give it back to them.
Well, I just go back to that same discussion that we continuously have, which is you give someone $600 and next thing you know, you don't provide anything else for another 9 months.
Yeah.
And what do you really expect to see? You're going to see more crime. You're going to see, you know, people.
If you gave somebody $600 and they don't see anything else in 9 months, you essentially just gave them like $80 a week. You know what I'm saying? So you might say instead of giving them a whole bunch of checks for $80 a week, you gave them one check for $80 that should last. You know, that in your mind will give them 8 weeks of 8 weeks. What did I say? 8 months. 8 months of cover.
Jimmy, how you doing?
My real name's Donald Brandt.
Oh, okay, Donald, how you doing?
Good. The Jimmy Ritz I put that on my mobile device, so when I go to invite it in as a secondary camera, I can do it just like that. I just start typing Jimmy, and the name pops up, and then I press invite. So it's for the use of my secondary camera.
Oh, okay. Pleasure to have you on the show, Donald. True, Donald. Mike may join. Mike has said that he works in downtown Nashville. Panhandling is around the same level.
Yeah.
And then he follows up with, as in not higher than it was, it did go up for a minute though. So I guess Mike is saying it's leveled off some. So
well, I got something to say about
to agree or disagree, but Donald, where are you live streaming in from?
Denmark.
Denmark.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
I was born and raised in California, in just below Los Angeles, in Orange County, and then I moved to Denmark about 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
a big difference.
So your take on how Denmark handled coronavirus versus, I'm sure, with what you've been keeping up with in the United States. Is it same, similar, or day versus night?
It's totally different. It's they handled it completely different. They did kind of like a pretty major lockdown of a lot of businesses and a lot of factories and things where people were actually working. They just basically shut them down for a period of time. And then they slowly opened it back up. You know, like certain factories they started letting open up again because some of the factory companies that were like the biggest companies in Denmark were basically saying, hey, we really have to open these back up because our
economics.
Well, no, not just their economics, but they were connected to what you would consider necessary equipment.
Oh.
So, yeah, so that's why some of these companies had to open back up because their supply lines and stuff were getting pinched before the COVID virus. So they realized that they needed to continue to get back open as quick as possible. So they just put in some kind of, weird rules where you had to wear masks, and between shifts, you had to give 15 or 20 minutes between shifts where there was nobody walking around. And then they had to the workspaces a little bit wider so people weren't working, elbow to elbow, so to speak.
Did they do how in Denmark how they kind of did in the U.S., like at certain times they just shut it down and would do like a wipe down, a full wipe down and deep cleansing of surfaces and stuff like that?
No, not really. I heard something like that was going on at a couple of the schools, and then they just decided to shut down the schools. So
Gotcha.
We had a lot of kids that just basically came home.
Well, they don't do that here either. I mean, they were doing it like
early on,
months ago.
Early on,
down light switches and and every cart. If you go into a restaurant now, not restaurant, supermarket, going to Walmart, wipe down every cart, make sure nobody wipe down all the little baskets. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah, yeah, it's just too
you
much.
You can't keep that kind of like focus on detail up. It'll make you crazy. It's Chinese water torture. So
I think
now everybody just wears masks.
I think there's a point in time when people are going to realize that, people live and people die, and there's lots of ways you can die. Viruses and things like this are going to be around forever. So we're not going to be able to change and just continue to be some kind of sterile, like anal retentive about all this stuff, because there have been other deadly viruses that have gone around the globe before. And, things have gotten back to normal where people are hugging and kissing and all that other stuff. So you just can't expect this to go on. It's that paranoia that they're trying to drill in people's heads.
Yeah.
That.
I agree. I'm glad you said that. I agree with that 100%. I think a lot of this is keeping the populace afraid and edgy, and then telling them, don't worry, we've got you. We've got all the solutions and the cures. Just keep us in charge and da-da-da-da. And when you go, you guys don't know what you're doing, and you protest, all of a sudden everybody's a fascist or an anti-fascist or a communist or a socialist, like this January 6th thing. Like, were they rioters or were they insurrectionists? They're not the same thing. right? So depending on what media outlet you're talking to and what they're talking about is what not what language, is what verb they'll use to describe these people, right? Because like I told Ted, I'm like, nobody's following that guy in the shaman hat. Well, he's going to take over, he's the president? No, I'm not following him. I'm pretty sure the militaries are going to follow him. They were rioters. Like, yeah. So, but what they did was they made a lot of those people, they're good and scared, and they're going to pay for that. But essentially, it's unhappy people, and everybody's unhappy. Yeah. Your side and their side, you know what I'm saying? Rather, my side and their side are unhappy. So on their side, they get to be Nazis and what is it? Not Nazis, Klan. What is not Antifa? What's the opposite of Antifa? QAnon, right? They get to be QAnon people, and then from their perspective, on my side, we get to be Black Lives Matter, super libs who hate the military and wants to get. But no matter what you say, there are hungry children now on both sides who are being fully ignored, right?
Yeah.
And with Joe Biden, we're back to the same thing that we were back to before Joe Biden.
So
Donald,
quite
frankly, got Obama elected.
Donald, what was your view from being in Denmark and seeing that situation from the Capitol being stormed? What were they saying outside of the United States?
Well, a lot, I have a lot of Danish friends, so I speak to them sometimes when it comes to different, news topics. That basically, that news hit the world everywhere. That traveled around the world everywhere. Right. A lot of people were basically, in Europe here, I got the feeling that most people that knew Trump as being the president also thought that he was not very diplomatic. This
right.
is their opinion of him. They just felt like he wasn't very diplomatic, that he was just kind of like this big bully that thought he was going to be able to just push his way around the White House and start pushing other countries around. And that's what kind of like the feeling that I got from them, it was just kind of like that weird expression, when you feel something and they're just like going, this guy's crazy. But, who knows? I just think that I was kind of like disappointed when I saw that happen with the actual, break-in of the White House. I just thought it was kind of like, people can really be a lot more powerful in their actual, what's the word for it? When they have a movement, you can do things a lot more diplomatically and be a lot more effective without even raising a hand in violence. Right. Be very, very effective in other ways. Gandhi, look what Gandhi did. He kicked the British government out of India, and he didn't raise a hand to do it. He just said to them, start making salt. We don't have to make salt for them.
But people are done with this. I think you're going to see the end of the peaceful marches, because people have been marching since 58, 57, when those boys sat at the Woolworth lunch counter. Yeah. And here we are. People now, the latest not advantage or update, but the latest new norm to happen at these marches are people bring their guns to your peaceful protests. So now there's a whole bunch of people in these open carry states who 10 years ago, a bunch of black people there weren't gathered to group together in open carry states to carry weapons. Now they are. I'm in Virginia. There's a good 5 or 6 all-black militias that weren't here 5 years ago, because people have given up. And that's a bad sign that people have given up on peaceful marches and protesting, because they look at it like there's another shooting, and then you show up at my church and tell me how we're all in it together, yada, 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 vote for me in November, and then I don't see you. And I walk around this, So people, I think.
But the guns don't help at all, because that
I don't know about that. I don't know. I'm not for violence, but I look at guns as a tool.
Well, wait. Hold on. Let's. Go ahead, Donald. Say your piece.
Economics are the key to all of these problems.
Yes.
They say that United States has been the wealthiest nation of all nations for the past probably 100 years, you know? And I mean, that could be said, that could be true, but regardless if it is or not, it's a big financial situation that the United States is in right now, that they're just printing lots and lots of money to try to like paper over the problems.
Right.
But they have to have, Biden, in my opinion, has to really get back to work at getting people back to work. I mean, the Great Depression.
Agreed.
Because if it doesn't happen right away, you will see riots and stuff.
But here's the thing. What kind of job are you giving these people? Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Infrastructure jobs, infrastructure would be probably the biggest thing. But then you got to train a lot of people.
You need to hire a whole bunch of Americans to take on clearing out some of this brush that they talk about can't be cleared in Florida to calm these wildfires down. Build up all these bridges all over this country that we need built up. So, I mean, there's plenty of projects and we got plenty of manpower to fix it. What we don't have is two things. We don't have will and we don't have vision. We don't have any will to fix the race problem that's always talked about. And we don't have any vision to bring us to a new century. We just proved we're 21 years into a new century, a new millennium. And these guys don't have any idea what to do. Their whole thing is staying in power. And for the last, I want to say since since there's always been race problems, but I think since who's the Republican operative who died of cancer? Oh my, Lee. It'll come to me while I'm talking. But he started. He worked for Reagan. Atwater. Lee Atwater started this sort of scorched earth politics that we have now, and you've taught it to the kids who grew up with it. They know nothing else. This is the problem with ISIS, right? So yeah, they were brand new, but now for 30, 20 years, you let them subvert what I guess their Muslim religion is. So now people think, well, I'm religious and I can kill who disagrees with me, right? Because that's the new norm. That's where I grew up. So now you got to untrain that to paper over that with a better philosophy. You know, I don't know if these are the people who can do it. I really don't.
Hey, Donald, Tru, I want to introduce you just in case you guys don't know Tony D. Tony D is into the room. Tony, how you doing?
I'm good. Y'all got to forgive me. I'm about to pull into a drive-thru. I'm going to make my order real quick and then I can jump in.
Oh, no problem. Just wanted to make sure we got the introductions in place.
Can I get a number 2 with the Dr. Pepper, please?
This is live streaming right here, baby.
I'm sorry?
That's what this is about. This is how you bring a country together.
Supersize
it?
It's like, and supersize it while you at it.
No, I'm good.
Oh my goodness.
That's how you do it. Tony, you want?
I'm just saying.
Tony, you are the type of person to bring a country together.
I keep the world united. Everybody's going through the same thing. I was dipping in and out of the conversation because I was trying to go to supermarket, so I missed some of it. But y'all tripping me out with that one. So where are we at with everything? Bring up the speed, please.
Oh man, you want to recap this, or you just want to keep it swimming and hop in when you catch?
Just keep it swimming. Keep it swimming.
Yeah.
Pizza.
Yeah. And I got a little bit of a delay on my sound too, so I apologize.
Okay, no problem. Pizza Pop-Tarts has said hello from Tucson.
Right.
Thank you for checking in. And I'm waiting on asada tacos right now. You see? That's how you bring the country together through food.
Yes.
That's what you
good
do.
Time, but we can't do that.
I hear you.
You know,
I hear you.
I mean,
Mike Patton.
Our primal mode has been upended.
So your last conversation
If you're supposed to...
Hey, Tony, Mike Patton said you were getting a Royale with cheese.
Nah, I'm at, if you don't know, I was at Freddy's Steak Burgers. I try to come here about once a month and just grab something different besides McDonald's and Burger King and all that stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nah, it's just the ongoing Royale with cheese is a Pulp Fiction cult classic.
Yeah, it's around.
I thought it was LeGrande.
No, we were just talking about, the plight of the world, the pandemic, things that need to happen. Tru and I started off the conversation. We were talking about, and we tend to disagree, but we agree to disagree. And I think the important part is more people speaking with each other who come in on different sides. So we were talking about, hey, Pizza Pop-Tart, you have a great one too. Thanks so much for jumping in here with us. What's so important is for us to get together to talk some of this stuff through versus seeing what we see on TV every day by these politicians, by leaders who are like, oh, I feel this way, and this is the way we should operate, and the other side is wrong. And we know we can't.
There's an art to debate, right?
Okay.
And no one does it anymore. It's just I've got my own facts, you've got your own facts, and that's where everybody is.
Yeah. And your facts are derived from fake news.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, I brought that up more than once myself. Anytime I broadcast, you'll catch them if you ever see the old ones. I always ask everybody, how are you handling the pandemic? What's going on your side of the world, outside of what we're being reported? Because a lot of people don't understand that some of the numbers are being changed, I think, around last summer. They stopped telling everybody how many folks are dying because it was starting to panic. It really was. So the biggest thing is, wherever you're at, if you're seeing what's going on locally, let us know what's happening. Let us know what's going on for real over what we're following on the news. Everybody knows the news has faced some issues, or they're only allowed to broadcast certain aspects of information, if you will. So I'm not mad at them for what they're doing. I understand where they're coming from. But the whole thing is, when we talk to people like we're doing right now, everybody's somewhere different. What's going on in your area?
Yes.
But, I'm good with that.
It's a wide open world, though. You can find this information. It's not like it's sealed. I mean, Ben sends me what's that app with the daily death count on it?
Oh yeah, the COVID count.
It's not like they shut the system down or anything. It's just that the majority of people don't do that. It's just the majority of people don't look for. Because sometimes you have to look 3 and 4 and 5 and 10 times to find the right information. And most people don't do that. They just come home or they hop in their car, they turn on the news radio. Like, did you know that there's a new black radio network? What's the name of it?
Black News Network.
Yeah, you heard about this? Yeah. I
heard about this.
As I drive around. There's no black news on it. It's really, and then they tell you how they got money from like McDonald's and like, all these. You go, okay, but there's no black news on it. Go
ahead.
It reminds me of, remember Barack Obama's Boy Scout kind of group where he was getting like these kids, Brother's Keeper.
My Brother's Keeper.
This thing. What happened to those kids?
Good question.
I don't know. I will just jump in and say this much. If you look at any cable package that you get from your subscriber, they're going to give you your far left, far right.
Fox News is free.
Like I said, they're going to give you something on the left, something on the right, a few things in the middle, and then the extreme.
Right.
From either side.
Thank you.
Right.
And I mean, it's on you to be able to weed out what's right and what's not.
But look, you have to. I mean, I don't want to disrespect my fellow Americans, but the education system here is ass, right? You have to have a natural curiosity to seek this stuff out, right? And you have to be. I have a natural curiosity, and I sort of also have sort of a brash personality. So you slam those two things together with an interest in politics, you're going to get politics talked about in I guess a way more truthful and honest way than I guess politicians or the average person who has a casual relationship with politics. So that makes me weird, right? But other people do this with math or music, and they're like savants with it. And so you always, no matter what it is, you're always going to have people who will seek out the information more so than the average, and I mean, we're we're the town criers at this point. Because I was saying 5-6 years ago that MSNBC is the same as Fox News, and it's trash. And as soon as Obama left office, they got rid of all those black dudes, Nolan Martin, so it's just funny to see how they work. When George Bush got elected, they hired all these conservatives, right, to give a conservative, honest, real. So it's a message game, right? And they want to stay in power by keeping them. America is a weird place, and I say that by you can't take over America. You can't. Like, you can't go what they accused Donald Trump of trying to do, like be a king. You can't do it just because you would have to collect all the guns and tell people that they couldn't vote or do any of that stuff. And we're combative group, right? So if you do it, you've got to make the people think that you're the best guy to do it, like Donald Trump did. Only I can fix it. Remember that line?
Yeah.
So you got to make people feel that. But this idea that
and it worked for 4 years. It worked for 4 years.
Taking up all the guns, and this is a nation of 300 million people. It's a big population to play that game with, and I don't see how that happens. No one has the population this big other than China, right? Who's got a bigger population than us? We've got more people than Russia. We've got more people than Britain. We've got 60 million people, I think. So, yeah, I mean, this is why all of Europe wants our market, because they can sell to way more people. And why we want the Chinese market, because then we can sell to way more people. But making your enemies rich is the problem. So
they're not our enemy.
China is not enemy?
They're not our fucking enemy. We opened the door to trade with China. That was something Nixon did. Remember when he opened the doors to China? It was like, yeah, you guys want us to make your TVs and mobile phones and what that you want under the sun, and now you've got a person like Trump that's starting to kick dirt on their shins. It's like,
hold on. I mean, they've been sending us subpar material. I mean, they've been building islands in open water that for conflict. They still have an issue with Taiwan. So the idea that China isn't an adversary, it's not.
They're not.
Yeah, I would disagree with that.
What kind of mobile phone are you on right now? Was it made in America?
Nope. But that's my point. You shouldn't have this stuff being made by an adversary.
If you asked any Americans to build that phone, you know how much it would cost you?
Yeah, I know.
4 times as much.
I know, and it doesn't matter. It should be built here, right? So this idea that for you not miscalculate, you are not misname, but you rename or you categorize someone who's a threat to you, who's still every time you turn around. The only thing we haven't done is shot at each other, but they stand against us at every stage at the UN and all these other. I mean, they're the only thing we're not in the shooting war. I mean, I don't know what is going on. Why we're engaged in trade with them.
Think about the logic behind what you're saying. Just imagine yourself as being one of the biggest, highest populated countries in the world with the most natural resources in the world. And you're just being told by this little country, which is United States, that,
we're not a little country.
You shouldn't be doing that. If I was the leader of the country, I'd be just going, I would be just brushing it off my shoulder and just going, no, we're going to do exactly what we want to do, and you're going to slow us down.
Right. Well, here's the thing. They've got essentially an enslaved population. They don't. They don't. What they do is they take what we've done and I guess they used to at least and do a turn with it. But I mean, what was the last great invention to come out of China? Just like there hasn't been one. Just like there hasn't been any great inventions to come out of Russia. Their population isn't allowed to think that deeply. so they don't get creativity of these outliers. We did it here because we're allowed to we may have issues with each other, but we are allowed to say whatever the heck we want, write whatever the heck we want, sing whatever the heck we want. And some of that with this many people will get you good art. And people know that if they make art that, Trump is an idiot or Bush is an idiot, no one's going to disappear. Me just calling those people an idiot, I'm not going to disappear tomorrow. That's not the case in China. That's not the case in Russia, especially with their journalists. And they just let Russians buy blue jeans in the 80s. I mean, these
let me turn this up. I'm gonna come right back.
These regimes are not full open, and they don't like our influence. But what they want is to be seen as not as aggressive as they are. They want our technology. And they know that our politicians are braggable. I think they are. I think China is a threat to this nation. I think that they are an absolute adversary, and we'll see what happens.
I just think that they're in a direction that is towards, like, they have more people that are trained as doctors and lawyers, scientists.
They have a different society. That doesn't make them better. Just because they have us,
Well, it does make them better.
No, I don't know about that.
You know
People
why?
Don't get into the college they want, commit suicide, right? I mean, look, we go through. You can't one-for-one nationships, right? Because we're so different. Who was I talking to about this? I think was it you, Biz? When look, America and England are similar. We're not the same. So I've heard British people say some extra smug stuff about this place, especially about Donald Trump. Like, we're the same thing, and how can you tolerate this? And we're not the same thing, right? Like, I think the thing about the shutdown, everybody, in some countries like North Korea, you can order people to stay home. You can't do that here, right? You can't. So you're gonna get brushback and blowback by making people do things. I for one to wear a mask, but I get why people push back, and people were absolutely outraged. And then you want to show, you don't really do number for numbers when you talk about like these deaths. But if you did, you'd have to say England has 68 million people and America has 340 million people. So saying England, they had a horrible death toll, it's nearing 20,000, but America, oh my God, look at America. Theirs is nearing 100. And then you have to ask more questions. And no one ever seems to do that. So, I mean, I really do think that China is adversarial. And I really do think that our allies, while they're our allies, we're not the same thing. We don't want the same things. Even though it's easy for you to slide into this society, almost without skipping a beat, easier than with other countries, this society is still a society that will tell you to go fuck yourself. I'm in Virginia, open carry state. You're not my cold dead hands isn't a conservative slogan. It's a founder's slogan, right? Just like I'll say what I want. So much isn't an American black, moxie kind of slogan. It's a slogan of the Second Amendment. The second, which I'm getting my amendments mixed up. But
hey, I just want to chime in, Helen. Thank you for chiming into the conversation.
Yeah, I see that.
Recent inventions from China: world's first qualified robot doctor, world's largest floating solar power plant, world's first passenger drone, world's first operational drone delivery program, world's largest single dish radio telescope, and world's largest waste to energy plant.
All that China stuff, but they didn't invent any of that shit. You know what I'm saying? The drones that came out of American curiosity, right? You got it. Cell phones came out of American curiosity. The transmissions came out of American curiosity.
Hold on. You gotta let other people speak.
I know. I'm in the middle of a run. Going to the moon
You
came out of American
get in the middle of a
curiosity,
run.
right? So I just ran to you off all this stuff that they also do too, but they didn't invent any of it because their people aren't allowed to. Once they go, hey, the Americans are doing this, then they give all this research to go improve on it or hang from a rafter with your family.
But
this is why everybody's dying to get into college over there.
The bureaucracy that is happening in America is what slows down progress.
Agreed.
Decide that they're going to do something like build the world's largest waste-to-energy plant, and they just do it. There's no red tape. They just say,
exactly.
Okay,
yeah,
go and do it. And they have a
hold on. So your argument is in America we should be able to do that to American citizens?
No, you should be able to get programs running faster. The bureaucracy is what slows everything down. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you. I think the bureaucracy is too bureaucratic, but at the same time, I get why somebody just doesn't show up and throw around edicts. You know, we're going to build a giant dam. You will end up with half-built projects and half-baked projects all over this country.
Yeah.
Right? But when it finally gets through, you get like the Hoover Dam, which is just a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying?
Huge. I've been to that Hoover Dam. It's huge.
Yeah, you know, all those guys building it is amazing.
Hey, I'm switching cameras and mics, so if y'all see me changing over, forgive me. But I'm just trying to get on something.
No. You get situated.
Working on it now. I'm about to eat this burger in front of y'all face. So I don't want to be Everybody's at home. I don't want to hear it.
Hang on. I did have
you should see me trying to come up now.
A question on, and I don't know what everyone's take is, and I'm sorry, and I don't want to offend anyone.
No, you good.
How much of the impact is Johnson & Johnson with the third vaccine coming in? How much of a difference is that going to make with it being one shot?
I think it makes a huge difference just because nobody has to go back. Right.
So you think the problem is going back?
One and done is nice. You don't get to forget about it, which I'm sure there's a percentage of those people. So you wipe those out with a one and done. Yeah, I think
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Hold on, Tony. Okay. I'm bringing you on.
I'm making sure I got it. My apologies, y'all. All right, I'm a little.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're golden.
Let me go ahead and get in a piece of this smoke that y'all talking over here. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Donald, you want to chime in on that?
Honestly, the thing with what he was saying about China, the agreement was made with China like decades ago. So what we're going through right now is what was already agreed with in the first place. I think what Trump was trying to do was change some of it because let's put more money in than we were getting out. We got the product, but we wasn't getting the profit. So I know what he was saying as far as we're supposed to be getting our just due. I don't necessarily see China as an adversary as much as we kind of owed them from the war for 9/11. There was a big old thing about they loaned us a lot of that money that we had free reign to use. So we got to pay a lot of that back. There's a whole lot of conspiracies about what's going on between us and China, and even with the pandemic. I'll go into that one on another day because I can't even pull it on there.
We were in debt to China long before 9/11.
I didn't know that, and I give you that. I didn't know that. And I didn't know you was from Virginia Beach. What part? Now I got to start.
Well, I live in Virginia Beach now, but I'm from Brooklyn.
Where in Virginia Beach?
Thalia? You know where Thalia is?
Thalia Drive, Thalia Road?
Yeah.
Because I graduated Green Run class of 90. That's how I know about up there.
Oh, you're right over here.
Yeah, I used to be. I live in Georgia now, but I was up there for my teenage years. So, yeah, I always get in touch with my Virginia Beach folks. But I didn't mean to go up the subject, Ted. My bad.
No. We're good.
I hear you. But, yeah, the whole thing was kind of like he was saying. I let him go ahead and finish. My bad, bro.
Yeah, no, I said the question was, I'm going to bounce it to Donald first, is one vaccine instead of two. One shot instead of two, fully vaccinated. The efficiency, I know there's, a lot of back and forth over that, but I think it's a great thing, and we can get more people vaccinated quickly. I don't see anything wrong with this. What's your take, Donald?
Right. It's a good advancement because, can you remember when we were kids and we would go in, I can remember when I was a kid and we'd get in line to go to the lunchroom for lunch, and there'd be a nurse sitting at a little fold-out table, and she'd just be there. She'd swab your hand, your arm, and just stick a needle in you. You just go, Jesus, what was that for?
You just kept it moving.
And they just keep on moving. Yeah, there was like a production line. They didn't even slow down at all. But yeah, the idea
Remember that.
simplifying it so people can just have one shot and forget about it.
Right.
I think that's.
But now, like, everybody cries about everything. Like, the anti-vaxxers thing is the most ridiculous thing. Like, I would have dealt with them like this. Fine. If your kid is not vaccinated, you are not to use any state facilities, right? Because your kid can come, like, bring a plague upon people. But the idea that you have to have this conversation with a whole segment of your society just pulls energy and resources from stuff that you should be doing.
It does. It does. It does. But it's a conversation you got to have.
Not if you educate your society, and that is part of the problem. The problem is the society has been not just not educated, but sort of de-educated. Or like the things you learn aren't germane to your life generally. When I was a kid, there was home ec, right? So I have a good Southern mother. She taught me how to cook before I moved out of the house. She taught me how to do laundry. But one of the things that amazed me was, like, well, they also tried to teach me Spanish. I didn't learn Spanish in high school. So, but in high school, they tried to teach you some of these basic home ec stuff, how to cook, right? How to balance the budget, but they wiped all of that out. So all these cuts that I remember that my nephew was like, you used to do what? Like, the only thing that's constant is football, right? So they didn't cut football, but why don't you know home ec stuff, right? Because they want you to be perpetually dependent and spending money on, like, it's tax season. Like, if you had home ec, you could do your own taxes. They got rid of home ec, so now there's a cottage industry of tax people, right? And this is where it is. I don't know. I think we're all being pushed in the pins, and it's always about spending money and getting less. They've taken a lot out of schools, and taxes have done nothing but gone up. They've never gone down. So why don't you know how to balance your budget? Why don't you know what I'm saying? So boom, the time machine, fast forward, smash cut, like they say in film, to this conversation, and you have people who are anti-vaxxers because you de-educated them. You know, that's it.
I wanted to address that too. When I spoke about my own niece becoming a dancer, she was pretty talented when she was young. So there was a couple of these little go-sees that she went on. Just like they go, oh yeah, you're going to come and try out for this dance.
Yeah, open casting calls.
Disneyland, yeah, and so she got some good notoriety for being talented and stuff. And I was always telling my brother, I said, why don't she's so smart when it comes to math. Why don't you foster that kind of career path as opposed to dancing? And then, like I said, once she injured her knee, she was completely out of that whole loop. So it was like, okay, now what? I think that's what parents need to do is get their kid interested in the sciences and things like that, as opposed to.
But I'm going to go back to what I just said.
Hey, before you say that, Sports for the Blind, thanks for subscribing. Go ahead.
Right. I'm going to go back to what I just said about what you said about your niece.
Mm-hmm.
De-educated us, right? So you used to, if you were a football player, you also did something else. I mean, not everybody was going to like the league, but you would play football. But maybe, I mean, if you were a serious kid, you did some science, so maybe you become a teacher, or you weren't just a one shot. And I was telling my nephew, way back when they discovered this place, the explorers, they had to be soldiers and business people and mathematicians as well as sailors. So all those guys generally did 5 things, right? Because and so you have the mind power to do it. They don't want you doing that. Because if you were that, then you'd be formidable. And they wouldn't be able to push a fake, it's not a fake war. Real people died in the Gulf War, the second, right? So, not the Gulf War, 9/11, like going into Iraq versus Afghanistan. And so, I mean, America is a is a weird place. Where we spend our money, we're great. The military is not to be messed with, and everybody knows it. So I have no fear of China. But man, I really do think that times like these, it shows that the populace is, they've made us a party country, right? Everybody just wants to hang out and chill.
Everybody wants to save. Nobody wants to save. I agree.
Exactly. But they make it hard, and then they blame you for not doing it. Right? So if you still had home ec, it wouldn't be what it was when I was in high school. Now it would probably be computer knowledge, right? Everybody would probably have a laptop. It'd probably be, I guess, some budgeting, obviously. But it'd probably be tech security, so you know how to not get out your password. And that would be the modern day home ec. So then when this whole thing comes down, there's no lag because all the kids would at least have a laptop and be able to continue their studies from home. I mean, we are wide open for,
Yeah.
No, we're wide open for cybersecurity.
Yeah.
I mean, and we see it time and time again.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I just really feel kids should be, I can remember even when they were talking about taking away music classes. I mean, music is something that people don't realize how much it is to think. It's like a different way of thinking. Even just reading sheet music is something that's different than anything you'll ever do.
It's learning a language. And playing music is meditation. It really is.
Yes.
So it helps you, and they took it out of schools. They used to have good music classes. Took it out just to,
I took music appreciation too. And I enjoyed the class. It does make you think. You're right.
Yeah.
I played the sax. Yeah. No, I also had home ec.
Plus, there's something about discipline of music that, and to learn the discipline of it, you learn discipline, and then you can apply that in other areas. So, I think all our problems start with the education system. I really do. And I think it's intentional. I don't think they want a formidable group of Americans, because I don't think anybody who's in Congress would be in Congress. If everybody in America is smart, those guys aren't in Congress.
Well, there's a reason why they all go to law school.
Yeah.
Yes.
Law school's the hack.
Yeah.
Law school is like being a hacker in society, right? Because, I mean, just like
I wouldn't go that far. Come on, guys. Come on, stop.
I'm serious. Look, you know what? Lawyers are like, it's a superpower.
I work with lawyers all day, so you got to stop.
There are some supervillains. Wait, hold on, right? And those people keep some of them give guard to bad stuff. I mean, Epstein had lawyers, right? I mean, it's just really. I have questions. So why is Britney Spears? If Britney Spears is nuts, why is she allowed to perform? Because
they invested money in her. That's why.
Yeah. She's not
being a lawyer is pretty much being a legal hustler.
So nobody's going to
law is subject to interpretation. All you got to do is make it work in your favor.
Maybe she should retire and we should look after her. They'll go, oh, no. We'll just watch her money, but she can still dance. There you go.
You're right.
What's important?
You're right.
I will disagree with you wholeheartedly on that last segment.
Superpower.
Primarily because that's part of my livelihood, so I totally disavow everything that's been said.
Man. There are some great ones. Thurgood Marshall, right? We get it. But there are some bad ones too. So, we get it. And they know the workings, and that's the magic of it. And they know how to write the magic tunes to get a new thing constructed, and you don't know how to do that. They can stop you from going to prison if you're guilty, or send you there if you're innocent. Get you out if you're innocent. Keep
Sports
you out
for
of
the
it.
blind. Hello from Spokane.
It really is a superpower. Some are super villains. Like
I'm trying to go to a different topic.
I'm trying to. Okay, I should just apologize. I don't think I should apologize. I'm just trying to fix it.
You don't have to apologize. I'm just saying I'm not rolling with that topic.
All right. No. That should not be a topic. I totally agree. I'm fine. All right.
I mean, if you want to get into
No.
If you want to get into education.
Oh, good Lord! Did I just flip this thing back?
Yeah, you just flipped it back. We can see the beverages that you are consuming.
Yeah, at my gaming table. Yeah.
So that's kind of where I was. So question for Donald: how often do you stream? How often do you how often are you available on Haps?
Probably at least three to 5 times a week.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I do a show called Hex on Haps, which is all about cryptocurrencies.
Great.
Oh wow, really?
Hey, yo, I got to jump on your page for that one.
Yeah, I know, right?
Let me, because I'm on crypto, so we're going to talk about that sometime soon.
Go to my show. My real name is Donald Brandt. So Jimmy Ritz is just for this camera when I'm doing like my cooking and stuff.
Okay.
But, so when I do the other show, it's called Blab Cafe, which is a show about people's business products and services. So I bring people on to just talk about their businesses and products.
So are you ever on Michael Bathurst's show?
Yeah, I have been a few times.
Okay, that's where I think I saw you. Yes, that's where, because I was just like, well, wait a minute. Something doesn't seem right. Yeah. I love Michael's show. When I would commute in the mornings, I would watch his show.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah, I got into podcasts just because I was realizing that when I was walking around, I wanted something to listen to, but I didn't always want to listen to music, so I started listening to podcasts with the earbuds in, and
Okay.
what I started doing, and I'd never done it before. It was like, podcast, what's that about? But I do like podcasts. But these things, it's like, yeah, it's kind of addictive. I get up in the morning and then I see if Michael's on or somebody else that I know, and I'm just going, what are they talking about?
Exactly. That's how this app got me now. I'm serious.
Yeah, you got a bunch of content creators on here that are, once you can get by their quirkiness, then for the most part, they've got some great content.
Yeah, and everybody's talking about something interesting all over the place. So sometimes I just come in, say what's up, see what y'all talking about, and I got to go back to work because I'm available all the time like everybody else, but a lot of times if I'm at work, I may be able to listen in. I'll just say what's up. Biggest thing people want to see is who's watching, who's paying attention. And sometimes they go deep into what they're talking about. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've noticed that a lot. And the cryptocurrency speech like Jimmy was talking about, we was talking about that last week because I've been trying to get on it for the past year. So I'm watching the market. It's a good time right now. I'm telling everybody. It's a real good time right now.
Money.
Well, it's pumping for two reasons. One is the reason is the dollar
People with
is
money are buying everything.
Yeah, well, the dollar's losing its value, so that's forcing the people with large quantities of money, these institutional investors, they're putting a lot of money in Bitcoin because they see that it's going up 200% every year for the past 10 years, and they're just going, you have to be stupid not to be investing in this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really,
but a lot of people don't have the ends.
Just keep your eyes open to everything. This is a global platform just like everybody else is. It's a new aspect of communication, and people are trying to do more with it, and I respect it,
So for Donald and for Tony and also for Tru, Bill Gates was on a few nights ago on Clubhouse, and I don't want to say he was bashing Bitcoin. He was high on digital currency, but was low on Bitcoin. And
you really want to start this conversation? I got a good 20 minutes. Come on.
Go ahead. Go right ahead. He was high on that. I mean, And when I mean high, not on drugs or
No, we
anything like
got you.
that. But
No, I know.
I thought it was a good conversation. I didn't learn too much, that was new about him. Well, I mean, the idea about him being the largest farmland, owner, yes, but
something like that.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
and the fact that he still favors Bing over Google, and I was
Right.
like, okay,
Isn't Bing Microsoft
yeah,
and Google
but
is independent? Yeah.
but he was talking about kind of bashing Bitcoin, and it kind of falls in line with Janet Yellen and a few others that have been kind of not so nice to Bitcoin. So if you want to chime in on that.
You know why? It's
I want to hear this.
primarily the reason why. It's like when you have a currency that's being depreciated because it's being printed like paper. It's like being printed like toilet paper. It's just like printed in such volume that its actual value is dropping continuously, and at the same time the value of Bitcoin is going up, and they see that as a real threat to the dollar being deposed as the number one world currency.
Right.
And it literally can be within a few years, it can be deposed as the number one currency. That's something that's inevitable, but it does just, there's nobody knowing how fast it's going.
What is Bitcoin backed by?
There's no backfiring.
I
heard about the broadcast. I didn't watch it. I haven't watched a whole lot of it.
Dollars
but
backed by America.
Let me say
and
this.
all its institutions and money.
I joined the community last year based on cryptocurrency. We're pretty much based it off of the crypto coin Ethereum. If any of you don't know anything about cryptocurrency, there are at least 100 coins out there. Only about 7 of them are going to be worth it. Honestly. So when he's bashing Bitcoin, I think it's because Bitcoin is about to be maxed out as far as how many are going to be manufactured, and they're going after the others. I understand what you're saying about Bitcoin. I think you said Bitcoin is being devalued.
No, the dollar is being devalued.
Yeah, the dollar is being devalued. A lot of people had a problem with Bitcoin because it wasn't based off of anything. It was digital currency. There was nothing supporting and nothing backing it.
That's what I just said.
When all the major companies started accepting this payment, we can't hear you, bro. We can't hear you. No, I can't hear you at all.
True.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can
y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear him.
I can. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I missed what he said. What did he say?
Yes. No. But what I was saying is, what backs Bitcoin? Like, we know what backs the dollar, right? All its properties and
I got none of his audio
and intellectuals, right? Not intellectuals, institutions and military, right? All the stuff that it's made and it has done. So, I mean, the dollar has backing. What backs Bitcoin? Why is Bitcoin replace the dollar?
The dollar only has military backing.
Yes, we don't even run on silver anymore.
You think about the dollar as being something that the government has issued, so the government is supposed to back it. It's been in the United States is in such a huge deficit, and they're printing so much of the dollar. The dollar is actually losing its value. It's worth almost nothing now, and that's because it has been.
But America is still has the highest GDP of.
It doesn't matter.
Any nation, right? So it's still
it doesn't matter.
Okay. I mean, this is economics. I don't know, but okay.
You have to go and watch. If you guys would do me a favor and go watch a video. It's on YouTube, and there's a guy by the name of Michael Saylor, and it's just his last name's spelled funny. It's Saylor. He has taken MicroStrategies and invested $1.5 billion into Bitcoin, and the reason he did is because he says it's the trade-off. He goes, you have to invest in a currency or an asset class that is going up in value opposed to the dollar.
And when did he do that? When did he do that?
He did that about a month ago.
You know what's crazy? I'm glad you said that. You know, Oprah put about $800 million into Bitcoin last year, and you see how much it went up.
Who was that?
Oprah put like 800 million into Bitcoin. I think it was Bitcoin last year, and that's back when Bitcoin was $9,000. And you see how much it is now, right?
Yeah, she's pretty savvy.
That is bananas money. Bananas money. But yeah, the crypto market, man, right now, anybody interested, if you're curious about it, go ahead and start looking into it now because it's going. It's going straight up. And as far as him dropping Bitcoin, I think it's because he's probably going to jump on the other ones. And Jimmy, if you went crypto, you know the other ones I'm talking about already.
Yeah. I only talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Hex because they're easy entry and they're easy to utilize and they're easy to stake, So I like them for those reasons.
Gotcha.
So educate me a little bit on what was, I don't want to say what was hot, but what was something that a lot of people were talking about a few months ago before the SEC got its clutches into it, XRP.
Yeah, XRP. I have some of that too. And that was basically, they got into trouble because they were basically selling it as not as an asset. They were selling it as a security, which is a no-no because it's basically like you got this token and it doesn't really have any value. Its value is basically the fact that it's printed and it has a certain defined number of tokens that can be created. So there's actually stability in that alone. But they were basically selling it as a security, and that's, by SEC standards, that was illegal. So they're going to get a fine, but they're going to keep on continuing to, the company will stay in good standing now that they got a slap on the wrist.
So if you're in America, when will you be able to purchase XRP again?
Oh, you can still buy XRP.
Oh, okay.
You got to find a wallet that allows you to, because a lot of the wallets won't let you. Once this decision is over, it's going to open back up. And if you plan on investing, go ahead and start saving up the dump onto that coin ASAP.
Okay.
All jokes aside, everybody up here listening, you don't know me, you don't know nothing about me. I ain't going to make you broke. I just told you what to do so you won't be in debt for the next 5 years. You're welcome.
Oh, you found that video for Michael Saylor?
Yeah.
Cool.
I saw where you looked. But yeah, straight up, anybody interested in crypto, go ahead and start looking now. I started last year. I didn't believe the move was going to happen, but I'm seeing it happen. As of last May, check the prices from last May to where we're at now. And I'm looking at a couple of coins. I'm basically on Ethereum, but I'm looking at XRP. I got a preference for Stellar. I'm watching Litecoin. I'm watching Cardano. I'm watching Polkadot. I'm watching VeChain.
Yeah.
Ethereum and XRP are going to be the big ones, I believe.
I'm going to say this as a friend, but you got to understand the difference between a centralized coin and a decentralized coin. There's a huge difference.
Yes, sir.
The fact of the matter is there's a lot of the coins that are going to be going away. There's something like 8,000 coins, cryptocurrency coins on the market right now.
That's crazy.
And there's hundreds of them that die off every single year. And I think it's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen, and they're going to get down to a few. Like Cardano is probably one that's going to.
You think they're going to naturally consolidate?
It's going to dump.
No, I don't think it's going to dump. I just think it's going to grow gradually because they have a very, very good development team.
Okay.
And they got a huge contract in. I want to say it was Nigeria or one of the other African nations. It's a big contract though, and the reason they got the contract is because the people really liked their user interface. So Cardano's going to do really well over the long term.
Gotcha. That's good information. I appreciate that. Now I got to change my money up. Damn.
Yeah.
So for a novice like myself,
yes, sir.
What wallet should I be using, or does it even matter?
I'm gonna let you have that one. I can't answer that honestly.
You can get MetaMask right on your browser, and you can have MetaMask on your mobile device, and it's really nice on the mobile device because it comes up really fast. It's like you push the button and the thing just boom, it's right there.
The community I'm in uses MetaMask. They also use Trust Wallet. I've seen a lot of talk on Exodus. I've seen a lot of talk on Atomic Wallet. But bro, there's a lot of wallets out there. There's a lot. We almost need to have like a crypto stream one night. We would literally be up there for at least 5 hours.
Yeah.
Boy, one night out, so serious, because I've seen I think her name is Nday. She's up here. She did a blockchain broadcast a few weeks ago, and I meant to watch it. And then you can barely see it. We had a conversation. A couple folks that I talk to every week. We had a conversation about it one night too. When Randy Wharton gets up here, Randy's on top of it as well. So trust me, one day y'all want to see a big broadcast, I want to bring people in here, let's talk crypto. I think I'll be free maybe Wednesday night.
Okay.
I think I'll be free. I know Tuesday and Thursdays I got my community meeting. I can throw the link up if y'all want to join and get in. It's more of an intro of what we got, but definitely you want to just have a random crypto conversation. I have to get off of work, take a nap, put my son to bed, and call him the next day. I ain't coming to work. We're going to be up, bro. We're going to be up, and it's going to be money. I'm going to tell everybody that it is going to be money. The dollar's devaluing. Jobs are hurting. And I'm so serious right now. There's cats trying to do this. They're going to be done in 5 years. Nobody's going to be working after a while. It's going to be like Ready Player One around here.
What? Ready Player One?
You know how people were sitting at home in front of the computer. They only left to go grocery shopping and come back?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What we've been doing for the past year? It's about to happen again. All the restaurants are shut down. The malls are no good. The movie theaters ain't worth a damn. Nobody's going nowhere after a while. The money's going to be in furniture and shipping and handling.
You still need an economy.
I can see it happening already. Man, please. Just get your money right now.
You still need an economy. You got currencies, dollars and euros and everything else. The problem with that is it is to the point where they've never been under this stress because there's never been a thing like cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, when you listen to Michael Saylor, he says it's the most perfect currency ever invented because you cannot manipulate it. You cannot.
What backs it though?
$2.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean $2?
I'm gonna have to watch that video.
The United States government can literally print money without any gold backing since the 1970s.
I know that. I know they I forgot who took us off the gold standard. I think it was Reagan, but was it silver? Anyway,
I don't know none of his audio. I don't know what happened.
Backs it now? What backs Bitcoin?
Bitcoin is basically backed by the understanding that it is very bulletproof technology. There's no one that's been able to hack the technology. There have been a few attempts to hack certain parts of the blockchain.
I thought they got attacked.
Yeah, they've been attacked before, but there's been other things where there have been inside jobs. Like Mt. Gox was an inside job. It was literally people from inside the company that were stealing the money.
Oh, I got you.
Between an inside job and actually being hacked, that's a big difference.
I understand that.
People bring that up. They're just like going, "Yeah, Mt. Gox." You go, "Yeah, but that's not the same thing as being really hacked."
I got you. I'm gonna cut off, man. I got to run in the few. Appreciate hollering at y'all, man. Like I said, hopefully we all get together, chat again. Definitely, Ted. I appreciate the invite, man.
Doors as always, man.
As well, all of y'all, man. We're gonna do this again, though, for real, all right?
You got it. You got it.
All right, bro.
Wait, peace. One thing before you go check out hex.com.
I will. I now you say that corner. I'm gonna look into it, man. I appreciate it.
It's a really good platform. It's really well designed.
Got you. We'll get up.
Donald, all right, Tony. Thanks again.
See you, Tony.
Everyone, just make sure you subscribe to Tony D. You subscribe to Tru Armor. You also subscribe to both of Donald's accounts.
Yeah.
Jimmy Ritz, Donald Brandt.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just come on in the morning and I'll talk about whatever's on my mind when I'm having coffee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are always good.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm actually, I do pretty good on the morning show. That's with my mobile device instead of my laptop device.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of where we are. I'm getting ready. We're going to end this broadcast. I'm probably going to jump on with Mike Patton. He could do some sports-related stuff.
Ooh, nice.
But I want to thank both of you guys for jumping on.
Thanks for having
True,
me.
as always, weekly discussion. Donald,
I apologize if I offended anybody.
No one was offended. I just had to make light.
Well, just in case any of your listeners, I think I should just end every pod we have with a full and open apology for anybody.
No. We're just gonna get the audio for this full disclaimer.
Exactly.
Never apologize. Never
I do not
surrender.
endorse anything I say.
Oh my goodness! All right, guys, I'm gonna talk to you later.
Take care. I'm out too.
All right, thank you.
Right.